Once I enter a public place, I become incredibly rude.
How do you see yourself for the Oscars
You can't live your
night?
whole life behind your phone, bro.
Huh?
You're just not gonna, you can't do that. You gotta live in the now.
Oh, sorry.
You know?
Sacred rocks, and they were, I don't know, our ancestors, who knows. Oh my God, they were so good for butt itches. One rock ended up coming loose. It was a giant boulder, and it rolled down this mountain, and almost killed our sound guy. And all the Hawaiians were like, oh my God, it's the curse.
I'm a big time puker, like Lindsay Lohan, but without any drugs or alcohol.
Jennifer Lawrence didn't just fall at the Oscars. She fell hard from grace. The same actress once praised for being relatable and quirky is now being exposed for mocking sacred cultures, tearing down vulnerable women, lying about celebrity encounters, and surrounding herself with the most creepy men in Hollywood, including her own husband. We're talking about stolen nude art, cursed Hawaiian lands, feuds with A-listers, and lies so bold even Miley Cyrus had to step in and shut them down. From fake Oscar tumbles to offensive slurs caught on camera, this isn't just a few bad interviews. It's a pattern. And today, we're pulling back the curtain on Jennifer Lawrence's most controversial, embarrassing, and downright disturbing moments, including the shady secrets about her marriage that fans were never supposed to know. Let's get into it. Before we even get to Jennifer's own scandals, we need to talk about the man she married, because he might be at the center of one of her most embarrassing controversies yet. His name is Cook Maroney. And while you've probably never heard of him outside of this relationship, he's no struggling nobody. In fact, Cook comes from serious wealth. He's worth around $25 million and made his name in the elite world of fine art dealing. Think gallery dinners, $6 million price tags, and collectors who never show their faces. But what Cook was hiding in plain sight shocked everyone. According to multiple reports, Cook Maroney once refused to return a large-scale nude print of Emily Ratajkowski, a photo taken without her consent by controversial artist Richard Prince. When Emily found out the artwork was being sold, she tried to buy it herself. But the gallery told her it had already been sold to another collector. Except that wasn't true. Cook was the one selling it. And the buyer was himself. He kept the giant nude of Emily Ratajkowski for his own private collection and reportedly hung it right above his couch in his West Village apartment. One friend who visited said, "It's like he sits under a naked you." Creepy isn't even the word. Years later, when Emily found out the truth, the damage was already done. And what's worse, Jennifer Lawrence allegedly made him take it down only after fans and friends started whispering about it behind the scenes. A blind item later confirmed the rumors. This A-list actress finally convinced her husband to take down the nude photo of the hard-to-spell model. A not-so-subtle nod to Emily Ratajkowski. Now insiders claim the tension between Emily and Jennifer runs so deep, they're banned from attending the same events. And honestly, who could blame her? But the creepy artwork isn't even the most disrespectful thing Jennifer's been tied to. Because what she did in Hawaii had people demanding a public apology, and some still aren't satisfied. While filming the Hunger Games in Hawaii, Jennifer Lawrence sparked a controversy that still haunts her today, and it wasn't just about being disrespectful, it was downright offensive. During a press tour interview, Jennifer bragged about scratching her butt on sacred Hawaiian rocks and laughed about it. She claimed the rocks were used by the native people for blessings and then proudly told the story of how one of them dislodged and nearly crushed a crew member after she sat on it. Her exact words? "It was a giant boulder and I was in a wetsuit and oh my God, my A** was itchy." Asterisk. She described it like a quirky blooper. The internet did not agree. Native Hawaiians and activists were furious. These weren't just props, they were sacred stones used in spiritual ceremonies, placed there for a reason. And Jennifer treating them like a scratching post on national television felt like a slap in the face. Worse? She never really apologized. She gave a half-hearted response saying, "I didn't mean to be disrespectful, but there was no real accountability. No donation, no follow-up, no acknowledgement of the cultural damage done." To this day, many fans say it was the moment they stopped defending her, because it wasn't just immature, it was willfully ignorant. And if you thought that was the only time Jennifer twisted the truth for a laugh, You haven't seen what she said about Meryl Streep. Because in her next viral moment, Jennifer tried to own one of Hollywood's most respected legends, and it completely backfired. Jennifer Lawrence once tried to be clever on stage and ended up embarrassing herself in front of the entire industry. At the 2013 Golden Globes, she stepped up to accept her award for Silver Linings Playbook. And instead of a thank you speech, she opened with a bizarre joke. "I beat Meryl." That one line triggered instant backlash. People were stunned. Social media exploded. Headlines popped up within hours. Jennifer Lawrence shades Meryl Streep, disrespectful or just immature, and who does she think she is? To be clear, Meryl Streep is the most decorated actress in Hollywood history. And Jennifer, at that point, was barely 22. Fans, critics, and even other celebrities thought the joke came off arrogant, smug, and totally unearned. But here's the worst part. When people called her out, she tried to spin it as a misunderstood reference to a First Wives Club quote. She claimed it was a joke. "I was quoting a movie." Except, almost no one believed her. The timing didn't make sense, and the delivery wasn't even close to the original scene. Critics accused her of making up the excuse after the backlash to save face, and some even suggested she only mentioned the quote because her team told her to. It was the first time her "I'm just being funny" excuse started to wear thin. But it wouldn't be the last. Because in just a few years, she'd be accused of lying again, this time about a completely fabricated celebrity hookup. And Miley Cyrus was the one who exposed the truth. Jennifer Lawrence has always claimed she's one of the boys. But behind the scenes, that chill girl persona may have fueled one of her messiest feuds yet with Miley Cyrus. It all started with Liam Hemsworth. During the press tour for the Hunger Games, fans were obsessed with the chemistry between Jennifer and Liam, and she leaned into it hard. In one interview, Jennifer casually dropped a bombshell. "Liam and I kissed once off camera." The interviewer was stunned. Jennifer just smiled, acting like it was no big deal. She claimed it was just a drunken moment and moved on. But not everyone bought the story, especially not Miley. Because at the time, Liam was still very much involved with Miley Cyrus. The timeline didn't add up, and Miley's fans went into full investigation mode. Screenshots, photos, and interviews were cross-referenced, and guess what? All signs pointed to Jennifer either exaggerating or flat-out lying. Then came the clapback. At the 2015 VMAs, Miley walked the red carpet in a silver barely there outfit that made headlines on its own. But what fans really noticed was what she said backstage. When asked about Liam, she paused, smiled, and said, "Some girls lie to make themselves seem cooler than they are." No names were mentioned, but fans immediately connected the dots. After that, Miley unfollowed Jennifer on every platform. They've never been seen together since. And insiders say Liam privately confirmed the kiss never happened. But instead of owning up to it, Jennifer stayed silent. No clarification. No apology. Nothing. And this wouldn't be the last time Jennifer's quirky honesty got exposed as something a little more calculated. Because when she claimed to be the first woman ever to lead an action movie, she got dragged by the entire internet. In 2022, Jennifer Lawrence said something that made everyone, from casual fans to Hollywood veterans, stop and ask, "Wait, is she serious?" During a roundtable with Variety, Jennifer claimed, "I remember when I was doing Hunger Games, nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie before." She said it confidently, like she believed it. The internet absolutely torched her. Within minutes, clips of Aliens' Ellen Ripley, Kill Bill's The Bride, Tomb Raider's Lara Croft, and Terminator's Sarah Connor were flying across social media. Even Salt, Resident Evil, Underworld, and dozens of other female-led action franchises were brought up as proof that Jennifer was either completely ignorant or willfully rewriting history. Worse, she said her casting was hard to believe for some people because she was a woman, implying she had somehow shattered a glass ceiling that had already been broken decades earlier by women like Sigourney Weaver and Uma Thurman. Critics slammed her for erasing the very women who paved the way for actresses like her. Some called it white feminism in a nutshell, where someone acts like they're the first or only one, ignoring the struggles and success of those before them. Eventually, she backpedaled. Jennifer issued a statement saying her words were taken out of context and that she didn't mean to erase the incredible women who came before. But by then, the damage was done. It painted a picture of someone who wasn't just misinformed, but someone who constantly centers herself in every narrative, even when she doesn't belong there. And that tendency to twist reality? It wasn't limited to interviews. Because behind the scenes, there was another controversy brewing, and this time, it had to do with her husband's very suspicious art career. In 2019, Jennifer Lawrence married Cook Maroney, a name that most people outside of the art world had never heard before. But once their relationship went public, questions started flying. Who is this guy? And how did he land one of Hollywood's biggest stars? Cook was described in the press as an art gallerist and elite art dealer, someone with deep connections to New York's high-end art scene. But insiders weren't buying the fairy tale. Because according to several reports, Cook's career wasn't nearly as elite as it was being painted. He wasn't running a prestigious gallery. He was working as a director at a mid-tier art space in the Lower East Side. Not exactly the Met. And things got even more suspicious when, after marrying Jennifer, Cook's status in the art world mysteriously skyrocketed. Suddenly, he had access to collectors, celebrities, and high-profile artists almost overnight. Critics started whispering, was Jennifer's fame being used to prop up her husband's career? Even worse, some claimed Cook's gallery had quietly benefited from Jennifer's connections, with certain exhibitions getting funding or attention that didn't make sense based on the artist's reputations alone. There were no public scandals, no lawsuits. Just a pattern of favors, access, and influence, the kind of quiet nepotism that doesn't make headlines, but raises eyebrows in every industry room. And when Jennifer was asked about her husband's career, her answer was evasive. She praised his taste and said he was very supportive, but never addressed the growing narrative that her name was doing the heavy lifting. To critics, it just reinforced the pattern. Jennifer talks like she's grounded, normal, and one of us, but the life she lives tells a very different story. And that divide between her image and reality was about to grow even wider. Because just when people thought she was stepping back from the spotlight, she returned with a movie that bombed, a new persona, and a desperate attempt to win back the public. After a few quiet years out of the spotlight, Jennifer Lawrence made her big comeback in 2023 with the R-rated comedy No Hard Feelings, a raunchy, risky attempt to prove she was still funny, still edgy, and still relevant. The movie? It flopped with critics and barely made a dent at the box office. But what stood out wasn't the film itself, it was the press tour. Jennifer launched a full-blown rebrand. Gone was the Oscar-winning, serious actress trying to win awards. In her place? A wine-chugging, unfiltered, I'm just like you girl next door who joked about sex scenes, cracked self-deprecating lines, and leaned hard into her old, quirky girl persona. She even told a story on Hot Ones about being drunk the whole time she was filming No Hard Feelings. That was supposed to be funny, but instead, it came off as desperate. Like she was trying to recreate the same spark she had a decade ago, without realizing the world had moved on. Fans called her out for trying too hard. The relatable act felt rehearsed, and people were starting to question whether it was ever real to begin with. Because by now, the timeline was clear. She faked the Oscar fall, lied about Miley Cyrus, disrespected indigenous culture, claimed she was the first female action star, married into suspicious art world circles. And now she was clumsily trying to repackage herself as the same down-to-earth girl everyone used to love. But something had changed. This time, people saw through it. Even her most loyal fans admitted, the charm was gone. The jokes didn't land. The authenticity was missing. And just when it looked like she couldn't fall any further, a photo resurfaced that reignited an old scandal, one Jennifer had hoped the internet would forget forever. Just when Jennifer Lawrence thought the internet had moved on, the Hawaiian rock scandal came back to haunt her. It started years ago during the promo tour for the Hunger Games, when Jennifer told a bizarre story on late-night TV about filming in Hawaii. She described how she used sacred volcanic rocks, actual cultural artifacts to native Hawaiians, to scratch her butt. That's not a joke. She said on national television that she rubbed her behind on ancient stones used for burial and spiritual rituals, and laughed about how one of them rolled loose and almost injured a crew member. She called it karma. The backlash was immediate, but it didn't die out like other celebrity controversies. Why? Because she never truly apologized. She gave a half-hearted, "sorry if I offended anyone" statement that many found even more offensive. It wasn't just disrespectful, it was dismissive. And in recent years, clips of that interview keep resurfacing. New audiences discover it, new generations get offended, and each time it goes viral, it reopens the same wound. To native Hawaiians and many viewers, it was never about a dumb joke. It was about what that joke represented: a wealthy white actress treating someone else's culture like a playground, with zero awareness and zero consequences. And the fact that Jennifer Lawrence still hasn't addressed it properly? That's why so many people say she's canceled, not for a single mistake, but for a pattern she refuses to break. Jennifer Lawrence's story isn't just about fame, it's about how quickly a Hollywood darling can crash when the mask slips. She built her brand on being one of us, the funny, awkward outsider who somehow made it big. But behind that charm was a pattern. The fake Oscar fall, the smug award speech, the Miley Cyrus lie, the disrespect toward indigenous culture, the first female action star delusion, the cringy comeback tour, and a sacred rock joke that still echoes years later. Alone, each of those could have been forgiven. But together, they paint a picture of someone who's been playing a character, not a relatable goofball, but a master manipulator of public image. And now that the curtain's been pulled back, people are asking if Jennifer Lawrence ever really was the girl we thought we knew. Because in an age where audiences demand authenticity, being fake is the one thing you can't come back from. And for Jennifer Lawrence, it might already be too late.